So that's it, the last solar eclipse to be seen on this continent in this century. And as I said, not until August 21st, 2017, will another eclipse be visible from North America. That's 38 years from now. May the shadow of the moon fall on a world at peace. And ABC News, of course, will bring you a complete report on that next eclipse, 38 years from now.
The day is finally here. We are just hours away from the first solar eclipse in America in nearly 40 years. Thousands are gathering at Rosecrans Airport to witness totality here in St. Joseph. We'll have more on the world-renowned guest there for today's show.
Plus, KQ2 will be tracking your Eclipse Day forecast all morning long at the station and out in the field.
And we're out here now at Remington Nature Center by the riverfront. Cars are piling in, and we will have your cloud forecast cover in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Good morning from KQ-TV St. Joseph. You're watching KQ2's Hometown This Morning.
Good morning. Today is the day. It's the Great American Solar Eclipse, August 21st, 2017. I'm Christina Zagami.
And I'm Ryan Rose.
Ryan, we've been counting down for this day for so long, and it's finally here.
We really have.
Hopefully you have some good weather news for us.
You know, we may get be lucky, I should say. I can't even get out my words this morning, but we might get a little bit lucky here. Okay. In fact, I'm going to begin by taking a live look outside. Right now, not too bad, but again, we are going to be watching for that cloud cover. I'm going to get right to it, taking a look hour by hour on our forecast model as we take things towards the 11 o'clock hour. This model is actually showing we could be in luck. And then as we head towards this evening, though, we're going to be watching for some rain, showers moving through. So do keep that in mind. But again, for the actual eclipse, we may get a little bit lucky again as we look at some of this cloud cover on another model. We'll be looking at broken to maybe overcast cloud cover. I'll talk a little bit more about our models coming up in just a few minutes. Christina?
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Ryan. With St. Joseph falling right in the path of totality, thousands of people are coming here to town. Rosecrans Memorial Airport is expected to be one of the busiest spots to view the total solar eclipse. 12 to 15,000 people are expected, including world-renowned astronomers. Most have already showed up to camp out overnight and say they're ready to experience the nearly 3 minutes of totality.
We've had a great time. We have played a lot of charades. And we have walked around, made some new friends, bought some t-shirts, and just really enjoyed the people around us.
And we're looking forward to checking in for updates all morning long in Rosecrans. And an astronomy expert with more than a dozen of total eclipse experiences under his belt will be at Rosecrans to experience the eclipse. As KQ2's Alan Van Zandt explains, he expects it to be an experience that we will remember for a lifetime.
The date, February 26, 1979.
Live coverage of the solar eclipse.
It was the last time a total solar eclipse was seen in the continental U.S. Viewing the eclipse live from Montana was a young astronomist named Michael Bakich.
It was 5 degrees above zero, and for most of the time it was cloudy, and I was in a large Dodge van with my head out the window.
Bakich would eventually become one of the nation's most renowned astronomers. He's been the senior editor of Astronomy magazine for the past 14 years. Bakich's 14th total solar eclipse will be viewed from St. Joseph.
It is not hype. This one will be the most viewed in history.
Bakich says we're in for quite the show.
The first thing you'll notice through safe solar filtered glasses like this one will be the moon taking that first bite out of the sun.
He then says it will start to get darker and shadows will become more distinct.
You'll notice that each of the openings between the leaves is acting like what we call a pinhole projector. And instead of just scattered sunlight, you'll see hundreds of little crescent suns under a tree or under a bush like that. Really, really cool. The total eclipse approaches, and it's just one of the most startling, amazing, mind-numbing things you'll ever see or really feel.
This is just the most exciting thing I think I've ever participated in.
At this time, Bakich says to just soak it all in.
During totality, you want to take the glasses off. It's perfectly safe to look at. In fact, I even look at the sun, the eclipse, during totality through binoculars to get a close-up view.
Bakich says it will be 2 minutes and 38 seconds that people will remember for the rest of their lives.
Take that time. Don't mess with cameras. Take that time to just watch. There'll be another one in 7 years. Photograph that one.
Which is what Bakich and others did on that February day back in 1979.
So that's it, the last solar eclipse to be seen on this continent in this century. And as I said, not until August 21st, 2017, will another eclipse be visible from North America. That's 38 years from now.
And that day is today. And as we mentioned, Bakich will be at Rosecrans to see that solar eclipse with our own Amber Smith. And traffic was a concern for many in the area ahead of the total solar eclipse. Here is a live look at some of our area highways right now. And of course, the weather is another big concern on Eclipse Day. So we're going to check in with Ryan Rose. He has the latest updates. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Christina. Yeah, that's exactly right. In fact, let's take a look at another computer model for us. And this one is called the GEM. This one's pretty optimistic for us. Maybe a few clouds around the area, but this one shows pretty clear skies. And then, of course, broken clouds as we get into that 11:30 time frame. And same thing, really, as we head towards that totality. And of course, we do have more computer models to show you exactly what we can expect. I'll have that hour-by-hour forecast coming up in just a little bit. Christina?
All right, thanks, Ryan. Crowds from all over the country will swarm to watch parties or areas where they think they'll get the best view for the first total solar eclipse to cross the United States since the 19th century. Andrew Spencer has more from across the country.
As the moon starts to get into position to sweep its shadow across the United States from the west coast to the east coast, some people are packing up.
Sleeping bag, tent, air mattress, lights.
Others are already there.
We left at 4:30 in the morning. We got here about 3:30 in the afternoon.
Wherever you're going.
Nebraska. Wyoming, I think.
Don't expect to be the only people there. Oregon saw huge traffic delays this weekend as people tried to be the first in the path of totality. And because the eclipse isn't happening in just one specific place, cities like Idaho Falls have had a hard time planning for it.
This event is a challenge because we're expecting far more people, and they're not going to just one location. They're expected to be going all over. And so planning those resources, there's just so many unknowns.
The repeated warnings about the eclipse damaging your eyes might make you worry about your furry friends.
I mean, it's a risk. It's not likely to happen.
But Indianapolis veterinarian Trish Wiggers says dogs and cats don't really spend a lot of time looking at the sun in the first place.
But if you want to be on the safe side, just keep them inside for those few hours.
According to a CNN poll, about half of Americans have plans to watch the solar eclipse on Monday. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
The first state to witness totality during today's eclipse is Oregon, and the final state will be South Carolina. In all, 14 states will experience the rare event. An astronaut with ancestors who rode in the Pony Express is in St. Joseph to witness today's history. His story is coming up after the break. And also ahead, people from across the world have arrived in town for eclipse viewing. Coming up, how local campsites are dealing with the busiest weekend that they've ever seen.
Plus, we'll be talking about the clouds to our north and the clouds to our west. I'll be talking about that coming up in just a bit.
And we're talking here at Remington Nature Center cloud cover in just a few minutes. Stay with us and we'll have a look at what you're going to expect.
Hundreds have staked out spots at campsites across the area over the weekend. One of the busiest spots is down by the riverfront, and that's where we find our meteorologist Danielle Uliano, who has been tracking the forecast. Danielle, St. Joseph will be under the moon's shadow in just a matter of hours. How are things looking out by the riverfront?
You know, Christina, I got out here around 4:15 this morning and cars started rolling in. I'm at the Remington Nature Center right now, and it's free to park here. So people are really flowing in, setting up. They're also going to have vendors out here like Texas Roadhouse. So people are asking me, what's the cloud cover going to be like? Well, I know Ryan's in there in the studio talking about it, but right now our skies are clear, but we all do have that chance to see some cloud cover, so people can really expect that. But other than that, the skies out here are pretty nice right now. We're waiting on the sunrise, and people are setting up at all these picnic tables. Some of them are eating breakfast with their families. Some are sitting in their cars. They're directing traffic. But other than that, Christina, the traffic is really flowing in this morning. It's really been a steady flow here at Remington Nature Center as we start to move through. And like I said, I got here at 4:15 this morning. What we can really expect is just the traffic to keep flowing in. People are really coming up to see these free spots here. We've already met people from out of state, even some people from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So again, people are coming from all over to really experience this great American solar eclipse. Back to you, Christina.
All right, thanks, Danielle. And down by the river, Heritage Park is just one of many spots where eclipse goers have set up to camp as well. KQ2's Brooke Anderson spoke to some who have traveled many miles and found out why they chose St. Joseph as their eclipse destination.
We have people everywhere on this farm. There's 115 acres and not a bit of it's uncovered.
Old McDonald's farm in Savannah is overflowing with tent and RV campers as people are making their way into the city for the Great American Eclipse.
Yeah, we looked at the path of the eclipse. Yeah. It was heading right through St. Joe's, so we headed up here.
Campers are driving up from states as far away as Texas, Oklahoma, and even Wisconsin, an almost 9-hour drive.
It was a Google search. It was a map, an interactive map that showed the longest duration of total darkness, and St. Joseph's, Missouri happened to be the best case scenario.
But campers say the drive was worth it to see this spectacular event.
I've never seen a total eclipse, and I want to have that experience in my life. I want to share that with our children.
I wanted to come and see it, you know. Like I was telling them before, I'm 72 years old. I ain't going to be here for the next one.
Old McDonald's farm said they have 200 spots that have been reserved for Eclipse Day.
January of this year, the reservations started pouring in overwhelming numbers. I'd never seen the like.
Heritage Park in St. Joe is expecting close to 400 campers, the total eclipse being only the second time the Parks and Rec Department has opened the spot up for camping.
This is an unusual activity for the Parks Department to get involved with in allowing, setting up a campsite and then allowing folks to camp.
With thousands expected to come to town, these numbers weren't surprising for either campsite. Brooke Anderson, KQ2, your local news leader.
And the campsites say that they still expect a few more campers to trickle in throughout this morning. We're going to check in now with Ryan for the latest on our Eclipse Day forecast. Ryan, has anything changed?
Well, I'll tell you what, we are going to be dodging some of these clouds. We have a storm system up to our north. This system is going to continue sliding well to our north. Meanwhile, we're also watching clouds just off to our west, and I think this is the main area of concern that we'll be watching. If they can at least take their time or give us a couple breaks in some of these clouds, we'll have a decent viewing for the eclipse. We'll have to keep watching that, though, throughout the morning hours. Now, I'm going to show you a number of some of our models for us. This is 11 o'clock. This particular model is showing some clearing right around that time, maybe some clouds. Now, some of these clouds are going to be the high, wispy, thin cirrus clouds. And if that's the case, then these thin clouds will at least make it a little bit better than if we had the low, thick clouds. Now, as we head towards this evening, we'll be watching for some storms to roll through. Do keep this in mind. We could see some strong to severe storms with this line tonight, and then we finally do clear out. But I'm going to show you our hour-by-hour forecast for the eclipse. Now, starting things off at 11:30. I do think we'll be dodging the clouds. We'll be in and out of them, as we may still see some peaks of sunshine, which is what we need. I have about a 20% chance to see a few showers. That's the good news. Our chances are rather low throughout the day. Now, as we take things towards the eclipse, notice the temperature. We could be dropping these temperatures because of the eclipse, and it could be as low as 70 degrees right around that time. We'll begin to climb back up, though, as we head towards later this afternoon, back up into the 80s. But again, we will be dodging some of these clouds for us and right on through the 2:30 time frame. So that is something to keep in mind. And of course, the best place to view the eclipse is out west. I have us in the yellow right now, which is fair, meaning we could get a little bit lucky. So something to keep in mind that we will be watching for some of these clouds to come and go. Now here's a quick look at my 7-day forecast, and of course we'll be watching these rain chances, but hopefully we can keep the clouds away for the solar eclipse. Christina?
All right, thanks, Ryan. If you still need a spot to check out today's solar eclipse, you can do it alongside our chief meteorologist, Mike Brasciano. KQ2 and Trails West are teaming up for a total solar eclipse watch party. That event starts at 8 o'clock this morning, and Mike will be hosting the event on the main stage until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. An astronaut whose great-grandfather rode in the Pony Express has returned to St. Joseph to witness the totality today. Dr. William Fisher II is the descendant of Pony Express rider Billy Fisher and says his connection to St. Joseph will make today's eclipse extra special. He's also excited to see the reaction of people witnessing the rare event for the very first time.
And if you see a solar eclipse and you're not moved by it to think about the heavens in general, there's something wrong with you. But everybody that I know has learned something about the solar system and the sun from the fact that it's coming, and I think that's a great thing.
Dr. Fisher rode on the Space Shuttle Discovery and brought several items into space that his great-grandfather had carried as a Pony Express rider. We will have more from him later this morning. And dozens of astronomical enthusiasts all the way from the Netherlands have chosen Nebraska to view the eclipse. The group spent 2 days in Washington, D.C., then flew to Omaha and landed at Eppley Airfield. From there, they took a 4-hour cab ride of the town of Brewster from their home base for today's celestial event.
Is there a reason why you picked Nebraska?
Yeah, we looked where we could see the eclipse best, looking at weather, looking at other things, but we also looked at where we could see the night sky best, because this is the thing we normally do.
The group started planning this trip 2 years ago. The youngest person in the group is 16 years old and the oldest is 39. Here is a live look out over St. Joseph right now. We will have solar eclipse coverage all morning long and hour-by-hour forecasts on cloud cover. Also, we'll be sharing some interesting facts about the rare celestial event all morning long. St. Joseph police are investigating after multiple shots were fired at one of their cruisers yesterday. SGPD says 3 people are now in custody. It began unfolding when officers went to a home on Corby Street yesterday for a felony warrant arrest when 3 suspects fled in a car. During an ensuing chase, police say someone in the suspect's vehicle fired shots at them. Both vehicles then ended up crashing where the suspects were taken into custody.
I just want to go out and commend my officers for their job in this very dangerous situation. Going to be coming under fire and still able to focus and get their job done and take these suspects into custody.
None of the officers involved were injured. Police say one suspect was treated for minor injuries. Police are also investigating a possible shooting in Midtown. They were on scene at a home in the 26th and Mary area just before 9 o'clock last night. They confirmed to KQ2 that one person was injured in that possible shooting. Neighbors say they heard gunshots from the residents, but little other information is known at this time. A farm accident sent a Gentry County man to the hospital Saturday. It happened near McFall. Troopers say a 4-wheeler overturned on 46-year-old Stephen Jamison when he lost control while working cattle. He was taken to a nearby hospital by ambulance and then life-flighted to KU Medical Center. A Confederate monument in Kansas City will come down after vandals defaced it over the weekend. The city's park department confirmed that the Daughters of the Confederacy Memorial, located on Ward Parkway, will come down. It was found Saturday morning with red spray-painted images on it. The statue recognizes women who supported the Confederacy and slavery. And the countdown to the total solar eclipse continues, and health experts are stressing the importance of eye safety. Up next, how to verify that your eclipse glasses are the real deal and won't be putting your eyes at risk.
Plus, I'm going to have your full hour-by-hour forecast for the eclipse coming up in just a minute. We do have a system just off to our north, but our main focus is actually the one to our west that is bringing some showers and some cloud cover, and it's mainly that cloud cover that we are concerned with. Right now, not too bad. Hopefully we can keep those clouds away. But as we take a look hour by hour at the forecast, this is just one of many weather models that we've been looking at. We could be looking at broken cloud cover during the eclipse later on this afternoon and evening is when the main system will roll through. But again, we're going to keep watching this throughout the morning, and hopefully we can keep those clouds away. I'll have even more weather models to show you coming up in just a few minutes. Christina?
All right, thanks, Ryan. And when viewing the total solar eclipse today, it's essential to have these special solar eclipse viewing glasses. These glasses can help you enjoy the totality safely, but with many companies recalling their glasses, it's caused some to scramble to find an approved pair. Experts say it's important to look for the ISO of 12312-2 on your glasses. If it has that number, you should be good to go as long as they're made by a reputable company.
If you don't have that protection, then your eyes are exposed to too much radiation and it damages the eye.
Dr. Shaw says the best thing to do is to head over to the American Astronomical Society's website to make sure that your glasses are safe to use today. You can find that link by visiting this story up on our website, thestjoechannel.com. And we have a jam-packed lineup of eclipse coverage here all day long on KQ2. We will have hourly updates on traffic and other details around town starting at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and again at 11 a.m. Our network coverage with ABC's David Muir starts at noon, and then we will bring it back local to coverage at 12:45. Alan Van Zandt will be in studio. We will have KQ2 reporters out in the field with you live throughout the totality of the solar eclipse. And of course, we still have another hour of Hometown This Morning. We will be right back with more. Ahead on Hometown This Morning, we have live coverage and all of the latest on how the weather is shaping up for today's total solar eclipse. St. Joseph is just one of many towns set to experience totality today. We will have more on how communities across the country are preparing for an influx of tourists to experience it.
Good morning from KQ-TV St. Joseph. You're watching KQ2's Hometown This Morning.
Well, welcome back, or if you're just waking up with us, good morning. Today is the day we've been waiting for a long time. It's the Great American Solar Eclipse Day, August 21st, 2017. I'm Christina Zagami.
And I'm Ryan Rose.
And Ryan, I know we're keeping our fingers crossed in here.
We
Are those
are.
models looking any better for us?
You know, I will say some of them are looking decent. So
Okay.
we may have a decent or a fair shot at having some clear skies right about that time. Let's take a live look outside. Not bad. We do have some clouds. This is looking east. We do have some clouds that are around the area, and we're really going to be watching at some of these clouds coming in from our west. In fact, getting right to it, this is right around the 11 o'clock hour. Right around the time we begin our partial eclipse, and broken clouds will be the main story, I think. And so hopefully we can get some of these clear skies to be had. So do keep that in mind. We may have a decent shot at seeing the eclipse. I'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Christina?
All right, thanks, Ryan. The hourly countdown is on for today's total solar eclipse. Experts say it will be the most watched celestial event in history. Everyone in the country will get to see at least a partial eclipse, but places in the path of totality, like here in St. Joe, will get the real show. The first state to experience it will be Oregon, and that's where we find ABC's Marcy Gonzalez. She has a look at what to expect and all of the excitement.
The wait is finally over for the Great American Eclipse.
This is a life-changing experience.
From Oregon,
this was going to be one of the prime locations,
to South Carolina.
I'm going to put a pitch for Charleston because we're the last place. We're also the best place to watch.
All eyes protected by those essential eclipse glasses turning upward today for this long-anticipated celestial show.
Not until August 21st, 2017, will another eclipse be visible from North America. That's 38 years from now.
Well, the last total solar eclipse here in the mainland U.S. was in 1979.
Absolutely amazing.
There it is. It's been nearly 100 years since a total eclipse crossed from coast to coast.
Once in a lifetime event here, you know.
People from every state and around the world celebrating, camping out, crowding small towns, and causing major traffic jams. All to be in the path of totality, where the moon's 70-mile-wide shadow will cross parts of 14 states, turning day instantly into night for just a few unforgettable moments.
When we're a little bit older, we're going to be able to tell our kids.
And people are still talking about that 1979 eclipse when not far from here, clouds blocked the whole view for a lot of people. so far this morning, it is a bit cloudy, but the forecast is looking pretty good here for the last chance to see a total eclipse anywhere in the U.S. until 2024. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Lincoln City, Oregon.
And be sure to tune into KQ2 for complete coverage of the total solar eclipse. We will have live hourly updates on traffic and other details around town at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and again at 11 a.m. Our network coverage with ABC's David Muir starts at noon, and then we will bring it back local for coverage at 12:45 with Alan Van Zant live throughout the totality of the solar eclipse. Hundreds have staked out spots at campsites across the area over the weekend. One of the busiest spots is right near the riverfront, and that's where we find our meteorologist Danielle Lugano, who's been tracking the forecast from the riverfront. Danielle, St. Joseph will soon be shrouded by the moon's shadows. How are things looking out there?
Well, Christina, right now we're seeing a lot of people here at the park, or we're at Remington Nature Center. Cars are flowing in because the parking spots here are free. Now, as of cloud cover, I know Ryan mentioned the storms to our west. What we're really going to expect later on today is we're going to get some of those high-level cirrus clouds, and with that, they're either going to be broken or they're going to be overcast. Now, if they're overcast, we still have a chance to see the shadow in everything of the eclipse while it's happening. If they're broken, we have a good chance of seeing the whole eclipse in general, piece by piece, as the clouds break up. So that's something we're going to be keeping a very close eye on, especially in the weather center there with Ryan. But right now here at Remington Nature Center, the sun is starting to rise. You can see some of that cloud cover, but we're off to a beautiful start. People are out eating breakfast. They're out sitting down in their chairs, enjoying their family time. There's going to be vendors here like Texas Roadhouse. But again, these parking spots are free down at Remington Nature Center. So the big thing is to get your spot while you can. Enjoy the day. But again, for cloud cover, we are looking at high cirrus clouds. So again, that's that thin, high layer of cloud cover. We're either looking at broken or we're looking at overcast. But again, that time will come as we move closer to the time of eclipse. So Christina, that's really what we can expect here as the cars roll in. But I'm going to send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Danielle. People started piling in at Rosecrans also starting yesterday. KQ2's Amber Smith caught up with people from all over the country as they camped out ahead of the big day.
Slowly but surely, thousands of people started to make their way to Rosecrans Memorial Airport.
This is such an exciting natural phenomenon that happens once in my lifetime that I'm just not going to miss it.
The main reason is because I have 3 young children and I wanted them to be educated and experience it firsthand what it's like to experience the totality.
Minnesota, Utah, Iowa, people are coming from all over.
Flew in from Anchorage, Alaska.
So we came from Waconia, Minnesota to the bolus of what we understand is the best place in all of the nation to witness the total solar eclipse.
They all have a different story.
Was in 2nd grade when I saw one in Portland, Oregon, and I just wanted to give that same experience to our children.
But they're all anxious to see one thing.
Never seen anything like it in my lifetime. Excited that it's so close to home, so here we are.
From firing up the grill to playing games, there's plenty to do before totality hits.
Boys are inside playing Monopoly. I'm out here cooking wings, and we're just visiting, making some new friends with neighbors.
And we will hopefully be checking in with Amber later on, but between 12 and 15,000 people are expected to view today's eclipse at Rosecrans Airport. The bulk of traffic came in yesterday, but visitors actually started trickling into St. Joseph well before the big day. Most hotels were at least at half capacity starting Saturday night, many saying that they even received phone calls from Sunday night guests asking if they could come a day earlier to beat the rush. As expected, most of the visitors were here in advance were from farther away places, some as far away as Australia, England, and even Mexico.
It's really exciting. I mean, I never imagined having the experience over here. I mean, I came just for work and, now we're going to be celebrating this.
We decided to come here. Out of all 3 choices, we decided to come here because we thought it would be the best time to view it.
And of course, even more visitors are expected to make the trip up today, but many of our guests will be leaving St. Joe after the celestial show. Most hotels say that they do have open rooms for tonight. And with all the people in town, grocery stores spent the weekend prepping for all the extra business. Whether people are hosting a large watch party or just spending the day with close families, stores know that groceries are a must. Price Chopper said they estimated the amount of customers based on what they've seen during severe weather events.
We just got together with our vendors ahead of time. We discussed quantities and up in our orders. We get trucks every night, so we've just been increasing our stock and building, our inventory levels to accommodate, the influx of business.
Price Chopper said they also increased the amount of employees for today, and it will be all hands on deck for the Eclipse. It's not just the stores that spent the weekend prepping for today, but gas stations as well. Fast Gas has stocked up on items like snack foods, drinks, and fuel. The gas station has also increased the number of staff on hand to help with the flow of business. Employees say they just wanted to be as ready as possible for whatever today brings.
On Monday, extra staffing, basically. And just gearing up to be busy and taking care of everybody as quickly as we can.
Many other businesses will be closed today, but Fast Gas and other gas stations will be open for their usual hours. Law enforcement also out in full force, making their presence known all weekend long. St. Joseph Police as well as the Buchanan County Sheriff's Department are urging drivers to allow themselves some extra time today. It's still unknown just how many people will be filing into the region for prime viewing, so you should pack extra supplies if you plan on going anywhere on area interstates. Troopers are also patrolling area waterways. They say area lakes and the Missouri River are expected to be packed with people viewing today's eclipse on their boats.
The water's just a whole different situation than on the road. The water levels are lower right now than normal, so keep that in mind when they're out there. So when we're responding, there's only one way to get there, and if it's congested in a certain area, we're just going to have to wait till we can get through it.
If you are planning to experience the eclipse on the water, troopers suggest telling someone where you are taking off from and who you are with. That way they will have an easier time helping if there's issues to arise on the water. Missouri Western professors are using today's solar eclipse as an educational experience. A special presentation that happened over the weekend at the university's planetarium. We'll have more on that coming up after the break. And a space pioneer is in St. Joseph celebrating his roots this weekend. Up next, why the descendant of a Pony Express rider is hoping today's coast-to-coast eclipse inspires those who see it to reach for the stars.
And I'll be having a live look from Rosecrans Memorial Airport. Things are really starting to pick up here. More on the traffic lines coming up.
Plus, I'll be breaking down that hour-by-hour forecast coming up in just a bit.
After the weekend series, but the Royals want to remain competitive in the wild card race. Yesterday's game helped. They're only a game and a half out. Stay tuned.
Now, KQ2 Sports with Chris Roush.
Entering yesterday, 7.5. That's how many games back of Cleveland the Royals were entering the day, which if you're trying to win a division, that's not what you want. But the Royals in Cleveland finishing their weekend series yesterday afternoon. Francisco Lindor in Cleveland out at Kauffman Stadium taking on the Royals. Third inning, Indians down 2-0. Lindor at the plate, runner on. Lindor pops at foul territory. Cam Gallagher running over. He can't make the play. That's not good because Lindor gets another chance at the dish. This time Lindor makes him pay. Down the line and right. That one is hooking, and sheer luck hits the foul pole. That's a two-run shot for Lindor. Now, that's his 20th, but in the 5th inning, we're tied up in this one. Getting tied at 3. Alcides Escobar to right field with 2 runners on. Eric Hosmer comes in to score. The Royals take the lead 4-3. Now, next batter, Drew Butera, going to get one going opposite way through the right side. Royals go up 6-3 at this point, and they go on to win 7-4. And the day off today, that means the Royals, they can enjoy themselves some solar eclipse.
My roommate, Kevin McCarthy, is a little bit, but I mean, I'll go with him, and we're probably going to go watch it somewhere. He said there's like a special place where you can see a lot better, so I guess we're going to go there and probably enjoy the off day and watch it.
I'm just hoping that it's not real cloudy or the weather's at least good enough for us to see it. I'm not in the path of totality. I'm just probably 7 miles out of it, so I'll get the 95% eclipse. I do have the glasses to watch it.
So if you don't care about the solar eclipse but care about how the Royals are doing in the American League Central, here's what it is. Cleveland with a 5-game lead over Minnesota in the division. The Royals at 6.5 back. Yeah, not looking good, but they're a game and a half back in Minnesota in the wild card race for the 2nd spot. The Royals still have a chance in the wild card. KC has today off before starting a weekday series with the Rockies tomorrow at Kauffman Stadium. And can't forget about those Redbirds across the state out in Pittsburgh, finishing their weekend series with the Pirates last night. It's the Bucks topping St. Louis by a final of 6-2. KQ3. That's a look at sports. I'm Chris Roush.
A former NASA astronaut whose great-grandfather rode in the Pony Express has returned to St. Joseph to witness the totality today. Dr. William Fisher II is the descendant of Pony Express rider Billy Fisher. He spoke at the Pony Express Museum over the weekend about his connection to both space and his family's connection here to St. Joseph. He says going to space felt like a continuation of Billy's spirit of exploration, and knowing his ancestors started his Pony Express journey here in St. Joe will make today's event even more special.
It's a continuation of the spirit of adventure, the pioneer spirit that lives in all of us. And some people will probably have more of it than others, but for me it was great to feel like I was carrying on his legacy.
Dr. Fisher was a crew member on the Space Shuttle Discovery's 6th mission into space in 1985, and he says during that mission he brought several items connected to his Pony Express ancestor. Among the items he carried into space include his personal diary from the time riding in the Pony Express and some items from the museum right here in St. Joseph.
I had wanted to go into space since I was in the 1st grade, and to be able to take something, from my great-grandfather's time period, it's an honor.
Fisher also spoke with us about his thoughts on the program that brought him into outer space ending. He says he hopes today's Coast to Coast will inspire future generations of Americans to reach for the stars once again.
In the exploration of the West, the catalyst was the gold rush. Sutter's Farm, and people went out there looking for gold. They didn't find it, but they ended up populating the place. We need the equivalent. I think we need some kind of discovery, some kind of thing that pushes us ahead. I wish it had been faster in my lifetime, because Mars would be great.
Dr. Fisher says he returns to St. Joseph every couple of decades to visit the museum and reconnect. That's pretty cool that he's here with his grandfather and the Pony Express, and hopefully he'll be seeing something cool today, as we all hope. How are those clouds looking? Are they?
I think we're going to be left with broken clouds.
Broken clouds.
Better than overcast, and let's hope that's the case.
I'm sure we'll still get to see something cool no matter what.
Right, no matter what, it'll get dark.
It's
no matter
still happening. Don't worry, it's still happening.
It's still happening. In fact, let's take a look at our current radar right now. Now, the main area of concern for us is going to be those clouds just off to our west. This storm off to our north is going to continue sliding to our north, not going to be affecting us a whole lot. But again, those clouds just off to our west is what we will be watching very closely as we take things hour by hour. Again, we may see some high cirrus clouds around the area. This is around 11 o'clock, 11:30, and then as we get to the totality, we may see a few extra clouds. Hopefully, we can get at least some clearing during this eclipse. And one thing I want you to keep aware of, though, this evening we will be looking at the rain moving through for sure. In fact, we do have a severe risk for tonight. We'll be keeping an eye on that for you as well. But again, all eyes are on that eclipse, and hopefully we can keep the clouds clear for us. So as we take things hour by hour, 11:30, we will be looking at these clouds coming and going. I'm keeping about a 20% chance of rain, really low for us, so that's the good news. I don't think we'll see much in the way of rain until tonight, but we will be dodging those clouds. Temperatures in the 80s, and then we do have the potential for these temperatures to really plummet during that eclipse. Of course, we could drop into the 70s during that time. And then once that sun comes back out, we'll be climbing back again. And once again, we will be looking at the cloud cover through the entire eclipse, and it'll either be overcast or broken. Let's hope that they do continue to stay broken for us. Now I'm going to show you our 7-day forecast real quick. Again, we'll be watching for these rain chances, but once again, hopefully these clouds will be clear for the eclipse. Christina?
All right, thanks, Ryan. One of the most popular spots to view the total solar eclipse is at Rosecrans Airport. People there will get to experience the rare event side by side with world-renowned astronomers. That's also where we find Amber Smith this morning. Amber, we know it's a little early, but should any people who plan to drive to Rosecrans later this morning prepare for heavy traffic?
Well, Christina, the traffic really is picking up here, but it just is hit or miss. So certain times of the morning we were seeing long lines back there, but right now it looks like those lines are moving pretty smooth. But to give you some perspective, we're about a 15-minute drive. Like, people have to drive on a one-way street for about 15 minutes to get to that campsite. So traffic is flowing out here, but it's still a bit of a trek to get down there, so there's probably still some traffic jams getting in. I would expect to be pretty patient, but I would say if you're close to the airport now, you are going to be getting in plenty of time. But a lot of people actually made the trip out here last night. They said they're not going to miss the chance to see a once-in-a-lifetime event, and they actually set up camp, and they were making friends with their neighbors. They were coming from really, really all over the place. I met somebody from Alaska. I met somebody from Germany. There were a lot of people from Minnesota, Iowa, and a lot of people actually made the drive up just from Kansas City. So it is really building an excitement here. Things are really picking up. And like I said, the traffic really seems to be moving right now. But I would say about 30 minutes ago, we were seeing that line all the way out here. And like I said, we are about 15 minutes away from where that campsite is. So if you're making your way in, maybe be prepared to take about 30 minutes to actually get to that campsite once you get off the highway and get in near Rosecrans Memorial Airport, because that's where I'm standing right now. But reporting live from St. Joseph, Amber Smith, KQ2, your local news leader.
All right, thanks, Amber. And where there's an action, there's almost always a reaction. So, well, apparently, when there's a solar eclipse, there's also a complementary lunar eclipse. That was the message from astronomers at Missouri Western about eclipses and other astronomical events. Experts say there was a lunar eclipse in Europe just 2 weeks ago, and that happens when the Earth is between the sun and the moon, and the Earth's shadow is cast upon the moon.
The lunar eclipse that's associated with this total solar eclipse happened 2 weeks ago, and it was visible from Western Europe on out to the east, out toward Asia, and all the way over to Australia, actually. So folks on that part of the planet got to see it. By the time night came for us, the eclipse was already over.
Derek Pitts was among those speaking this past weekend. He is an astronomer with the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia. And as Amber mentioned earlier, traffic might be a concern for those who are traveling on area highways to their eclipse destinations. Here's a live look at conditions. We will have more live looks from the MoDOT traffic cams throughout the show. And sad news this morning, a comedy legend has died. More on the passing of Jerry Lewis is coming up next. Plus, Ryan will have the latest hour-by-hour solar eclipse forecast for you. Stay with us.
Taking a live look outside, we are sitting pretty good right now. Do have clear skies, some clouds around the area, but again, we will be watching for these clouds to mainly come in from the west and maybe a little bit from the north. But again, right around noon or so, we could be looking at some of these broken clouds for us and lasting right on through the eclipse. Hopefully we can get some of this clearing at least during the eclipse. Later on tonight, we will be watching for areas of showers and thunderstorms, some strong to severe. So do keep that in mind if you're going to be out and about later on tonight. We could be looking at some of these strong thunderstorms. We'll be clearing, though, for tomorrow. But again, all eyes are on what's going to be happening for the eclipse. Here's another computer model that we do have. This is called the Euro, and this one does want to paint a pretty cloudy picture. Again, broken clouds in there for us, and right on through the eclipse. That's the Euro model. I'm going to show you another one. Here's the Gem. This one wants to be pretty optimistic. If we can get this to happen, that would be wonderful with mostly clear skies for us. I am pretty doubtful that that'll happen. I do think we'll at least see some clouds broken to overcast, lasting right on through the eclipse. So I will have more details on that hour-by-hour forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Christina?
All right, thanks, Ryan. Legendary actor, comedian, and philanthropist Jerry Lewis has passed away. His publicist confirmed yesterday that he passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by his family. They say he suffered from a brief illness, but did not elaborate. He was known for movie roles like The Nutty Professor, but perhaps made his biggest influence with his annual muscular dystrophy telethon. He was 91 years old. It's time now for our birthday shout-outs. We want to wish a happy birthday to Cade Allen, who celebrated 18 years over the weekend. Happy birthday to you from your father and your brothers. And happy birthday to Gail Rensing-Wolk, who also celebrated this weekend. Your friend Gina and the rest of your family and friends love you and wish you a very happy birthday. And as always, if you would like any celebratory shout-outs on our morning show, all you have to do is send an email over to me at kzagami@kq2.com. And KQ2 and the stjochannel.com are giving you a chance to win some free pizza. All you have to do is sign up to win with the Papa Murphy's Pizza Birthday Contest. It's really simple to enter. Just go to the stjochannel.com, click on that contest tab, fill out your form with your birthday information, and submit it for your chance to win a free large pizza from Papa Murphy's. We will announce this week's winner every Friday here on Hometown This Morning. And don't forget, you have a chance to experience totality today alongside our chief meteorologist, Mike Brasiano. KQ2 and Trails West are teaming up for a total solar eclipse watch party. That event starts at 8 this morning, and Mike will be hosting the event on the main stage until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And if you're viewing today's eclipse at Rosecrans, you'll be in the company of some of the world's top scientific minds.
It is not hype. This one will be the most viewed in history.
Why the senior editor of Astronomy magazine chose St. Joseph to view the eclipse. We'll talk about that when we return.
Plus, we are keeping an eye on some clouds just off to our west. I'll detail that forecast out for you coming up in just a little bit.
Ahead on Hometown This Morning, the editor of Astronomy magazine has picked St. Joseph as the spot he will view today's total solar eclipse. We'll have more on what went into his decision.
Here at Rosecrans Memorial Airport, people are starting to file in. A lot of people are already camping out too ahead of the big day. I've got more coming up next.
Plus, KQ2 will be tracking your Eclipse Day forecast all morning long at the station and out in the field.
Good morning from KQ-TV St. Joseph. You're watching KQ2's Hometown This Morning.
Good morning. The day is finally here. Today is the day of the Great American Solar Eclipse, August 21st, 2017. I'm Christina Zagami.
And I'm Ryan Rose.
And I know Ryan's been extra busy this morning. He was in here
yes.
early watching all the cloud covers, and we're really hoping and praying here for some clearer skies.
We might be in luck. We are watching some clouds off to our west, but hopefully we can get at least broken clouds so that we can at least see the eclipse, or at least part of the eclipse. But again, that live look, not bad right now. Again, we are watching some of these clouds. I'm gonna just get right to it again, taking an hour by hour look. This is around noon. We are gonna be watching some of these clouds, mainly off to our west here, and they will be approaching, and right around 1 o'clock, I do think they will be broken clouds, and they will be high cirrus clouds. So we'll at least, no matter what happens, we will be at least getting dark with the eclipse. But I'll have your full detailed forecast for the eclipse coming up in just a few minutes. Christina?
All right, thanks, Ryan. With St. Joseph falling right on the path of totality, thousands of people are coming to town, and Rosecrans Memorial Airport is expected to be one of the busiest spots to view today's solar eclipse. And that's where we find KQ2's Amber Smith, who woke up a little early with us this morning. Amber, it looks like it's starting to get brighter out there at Rosecrans, but it's definitely going to get dark soon. How's the mood?
It is starting to get a lot brighter out here, Christina. It definitely feels nice. People are starting to get a little more pep in their step out here. Some people are coming over, getting some coffee. But to give you guys a little perspective of where I'm at right now, I am at the actual airport. So if you would normally go to the airport, where you're seeing that. What I am seeing behind me here is some free-flowing traffic. And earlier this morning, that traffic was backed up all the way to here. Now it looks like it is flowing through just fine. So that's good news for anyone that's still coming out here to Rosecrans. That means people got up, they got here early, but there was definitely a bit of a traffic rush around 5 a.m. Now people are flowing in really well, but there are already quite a few people there at the campsites over overnight. They were having a great time. I saw a lot of people grilling up some food. I tried some good wings. A lot of people were making friends with their neighbors, and neighbors are coming from all over the place to come here to Rosecrans Memorial Airport. I met somebody from Alaska, I met somebody from Minnesota, and people from Texas. I actually talked to one family from Kansas City, and they said their big motivation is it's just up the road. Why not give this great experience to their kids?
We wanted to participate in an outing where other people were gathered to enjoy the eclipse. And we could have done it at home, but we thought, hey, let's go to a group of people that everyone has the same objective to enjoy the solar eclipse.
It is really starting to pick up here, and I'm going to be heading to that campsite soon. I'll have some updates for you guys on Facebook about that so you can see what the setup looks like. It is a really great time out here at Rosecrans Memorial Airport, and if you're still coming out here, you might be in luck because earlier traffic was backed up in a really slow moving around here. It's about a 15-minute drive to that campsite, but now it looks like it's flowing pretty well. But if you're not out here, you might as well come on out, eat some breakfast, and enjoy the good times with a bunch of neighbors from all over the world. It is really an exciting time here right now. There's so many experts out here and just people that just wanted to make the trip just to see that once-in-a-lifetime experience. But I tell you what, talking to everyone, they all have a different story, but they are really all coming together for this one big event that people are coming together for across the entire nation. And as you can see, there's some people out and about right now. But for now, reporting from Rosecrans, Amber Smith, KQ2, your local news leader.
All right, glad you're having fun out there, Amber. We'll look forward to checking in for updates all day long with Amber at Rosecrans. And an astronomy expert with more than a dozen total solar eclipses under his belt will also be there with Amber at Rosecrans to experience today's eclipse. As KQ2's Alan Van Zandt explains, he expects it to be something that we will remember for a lifetime.
The date, February 26, 1979.
Live coverage of the solar eclipse.
It was the last time a total solar eclipse was seen in the continental U.S. Viewing the eclipse live from Montana was a young astronomist named Michael Bakich.
It was 5 degrees above zero, and for most of the time it was cloudy, and I was in a large Dodge van with my head out the window.
Bakich would eventually become one of the nation's most renowned astronomers. He's been the senior editor of Astronomy magazine for the past 14 years. Bakich's 14th total solar eclipse will be viewed from St. Joseph.
It is not hype. This one will be the most viewed in history.
Bakich says we're in for quite the show.
The first thing you'll notice through safe solar filtered glasses like this one will be the moon taking that first bite out of the sun.
He then says it will start to get darker and shadows will become more distinct.
You'll notice that each of the openings between the leaves is acting like what we call a pinhole projector. And instead of just scattered sunlight, you'll see hundreds of little crescent suns under a tree or under a bush like that. Really, really cool. The total eclipse approaches, and it's just one of the most startling, amazing, mind-numbing things you'll ever see or really feel.
This is just the most exciting thing I think I've ever participated in.
At this time, Bakich says to just soak it all in.
During totality, you want to take the glasses off. It's perfectly safe to look at. In fact, I even look at the sun, the eclipse, during totality through binoculars to get a close-up view.
Bakich says it will be 2 minutes and 38 seconds that people will remember for the rest of their lives.
Take that time. Don't mess with cameras. Take that time to just watch. There'll be another one in 7 years. Photograph that one.
Which is what Bakich and others did on that February day back in 1979.
So that's it, the last solar eclipse to be seen on this continent in this century. And as I said, not until August 21st, 2017, will another eclipse be visible from North America. That's 38 years from now.
And that day looks like is here. And as mentioned, Bakich will be spending the eclipse at Rosecrans. And of course, the weather is expected to be another concern for Eclipse Day. So we're going to check in now with Ryan Rose, who has your latest updates. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Christina. Yeah, I'll definitely tell you what. Let's take a look at our radar, what we have going on right now. We do have some clouds off to our north and some clouds to our west and south. We're kind of sandwiched in between. Not bad right now, but again, the main concern is these clouds just off to our west. In fact, here in the next couple of hours, we may start to see some of these clouds. Hopefully, we can get to at least some clearing with this. And as we look at our hour-by-hour map and forecast here, again, broken clouds can be expected through the morning hours and into the early afternoon during this eclipse. And this is something that we'll be watching all morning long, and hopefully we can get some clear spots so that we can have a perfect view of this eclipse. I'll talk about that coming up in just a few minutes. Christina?
All right, fingers crossed. Thanks, Ryan. And Rosecrans isn't the only place with highly regarded scientists on hand to view the eclipse. Benedictine College in Atchison is hosting a series of eclipse events featuring a Vatican astronomer. The speech begins this morning at 9 o'clock on the campus football field. Following that speech will be the eclipse watching party leading up to totality. The college will also have an astronomy-themed music concert, and the campus is striving to make the eclipse a very educational and fun event.
We are really trying to make this a very welcoming and educational opportunity in the spirit of hospitality that the Benedictine monks are known for.
We will have total coverage of the event in Benedictine later tonight on KQ2 News at 10. And it's also expected to be a big eclipse day in Lathrop. Some say the small town could see as many as 10,000 people by this afternoon. Celebrations started early over the weekend. DeKalb County is hosting its 150th anniversary celebrating there. And it's a big milestone during a big event for a small community.
I don't think we were a community when the last solar eclipse came across Missouri. So that's kind of neat that we get to see one in our lifetime here in our little town.
City leaders have sold more than 2,000 campsites in and around Lathrop. And wherever you plan on viewing the eclipse today, eye safety is a must. How to know if your eclipse glasses are the real deal and not a scam, putting your vision at risk, we'll tell you when we return. And have you ever thought about how the eclipse will affect your four-legged family members? Straight ahead, what vets recommend pet owners do for the few hours when things get dark during the day.
Plus, I'll be detailing that hour-by-hour forecast, all coming up in just a few minutes. All right, we're going to start by taking a look at our radar. We have a storm system sliding to our north, maybe a few clouds coming down from that, but I think our main attention is focused just to our west. We're going to be watching these clouds throughout the morning hours, and again, we're sandwiched right in between both of these layers of clouds. Most of these clouds are high cirrus thin clouds. That's the good news, and the other piece of good news is that we may be looking at broken cloud cover. So we may get peaks of the eclipse as well. So as we take things hour by hour, the 11 o'clock hour, again, we'll be looking at the possibility of some of these broken clouds working their way through the area right on through the eclipse. And then, of course, later on this evening, we'll be watching for our chances for some thunderstorms. In fact, some of these could be strong to severe later on tonight. So do keep that in mind if you're going to be out and about tonight. We do clear for tomorrow. But again, for the eclipse, we will be looking at, we'll be in and out of the clouds for us. Mostly cloudy skies and 20% chance of maybe a shower popping up. I think our chances for that are pretty low. I wouldn't expect rain during the eclipse, but temperatures in the 80s, and during the eclipse, our temperatures could actually drop into the 70s thanks to the eclipse. We'll be warming right back up, though, into the 80s later on this afternoon. Again, some of these clouds may be sticking around for us, so hopefully we can get some of these breaks. Here's a quick look at my 7-day forecast. We'll be watching for chances of rain clearing out later this week, but again, hopefully we can get these clouds to clear. Christina?
All right, thanks, Ryan. We have an update on the Midtown shooting investigation that we told you about earlier. Police have confirmed that one person has passed away in an apparent shooting at the 2600 block of Mary Street. They have not confirmed how he died, but neighbors say they heard gunshots from the residence at around 8:40 p.m. Police say they are investigating what happened. We will have the updates available as they become available. St. Joseph police are also investigating in another situation after multiple shots were fired at one of their cruisers yesterday. Police say 3 people are now in custody. This began unfolding when officers went to a home on Corby Street yesterday for a felony warrant arrest when 3 suspects fled in a car. During an ensuing chase, police say someone in the suspect's vehicle fired shots at them. Both vehicles ended up crashing where the suspects were taken into custody. None of the officers involved were injured. Police say 1 suspect was treated for minor injuries. 10 U.S. sailors missing and at least 5 injured after the USS John S. McCain collided with a merchant ship earlier today. We're going to check in now with Good Morning America's George Stephanopoulos for more on GMA's coverage of this developing story.
Good morning. Coming up on GMA, a lot of breaking news overnight. A deadly attack in France. It looks like a terror attack, plus a collision of a Navy destroyer and an oil tanker off the coast of Singapore. 5 sailors are injured, 10 missing overnight. The desperate search is on right now. The second major incident in just 2 months. We'll have all the latest on GMA.
All right, of course, as we take a look what we can expect for today, taking that live look outside, we are looking at not bad conditions, although we are dealing with some of these high cirrus clouds for us. And of course, looking at our radar again, we are already beginning to see some of those clouds enter the picture, and hopefully we can get some of these clearing skies as well. Now, storm system to our north, storm system to our west, and we'll be keeping an eye on these for you throughout the morning. In fact, I'm going to take a look hour by hour at our map here. I do think our clouds will be broken. Hopefully we can get some of this clearing for us. So that'll be the good news there. And right on through the eclipse, hopefully, again, we can get some of these clouds to break up for us. And then later on tonight, we'll be watching for our chances for rain. And of course, our Danielle Giuliano is out of the studio today and down at the Missouri riverfront. She's there live now with the latest look at what the cloud cover situation is looking like. Hey, Danielle.
Hey Ryan, and that's right, I am down here at the riverfront, actually at Remington Nature Center. If we look behind me, cars are piling in here for the free parking, but let's get down to talking cloud cover. Right now we are seeing some clouds in the sky, and again, this is cloud debris from some of those storms we're having to the north and that we have to the southwest of us. And like we were saying earlier, we're going to see some of those wispy cirrus clouds that we're going to see as we start to move throughout our day. These clouds here are starting to quickly move off to the east this morning, and they're going to continue to do so before we start to see some of that cloud debris from those systems that are going to make their way, I would say, northeast as they start to move into St. Joseph later today. Now with these cirrus clouds, the thing we need to remember is that if they're overcast, you're still going to be able to see the shadow of the eclipse happening. Now if they're broken, we have a good 50-50 chance of actually seeing the eclipse in totality. So this will be a good thing we're going to keep a close eye on. Now if we look at our radar here as we start to move through this morning, looking at our radar, we are in between 2 of these systems. We're going to start to see that cloud debris come up. Like Ryan said earlier, we're sandwiched right in between right now, and not only are we going to see a little bit of overcast skies with those cirrus clouds, but we have a chance. If we look at our temperatures right now, temperatures are in the 70s and they're going to continue to rise. Now remember, as Ryan mentioned, temperatures will go down during the eclipse, but they'll go back up after the eclipse happens. So keep in mind, temperatures today will still be warm, heat index values will be warm, and we still have those rain chances for later on this evening. But again, our main concern will really be looking at these cirrus clouds as we start to head throughout our day. Will they be overcast? Will they be broken? What will our cloud cover look like? We'll have live updates throughout the day. Again, I'm down here at Remington Nature Center, so definitely keep an eye out. Watch us on all social media. And Ryan, I will send it back to you.
I'll actually take that. Thanks, Danielle. And when viewing the total solar eclipse today, it's essential to have those special solar eclipse viewing glasses. One local physics professor explains just how important these are for today's big event.
You've probably heard it a time or two by now. Make sure you have those special solar eclipse glasses. But just how important are those glasses for the celestial event?
If you don't have that protection, then your eyes are exposed to too much radiation and it damages the eye.
Physics professor Dr. John Shaw made a stop at Rolling Hills Library on Saturday. He discussed the science behind the darkness and how the glasses help you enjoy the totality safely.
Block out 99.9% of the visible light, of the ultraviolet light, and of the infrared light that is given off by the sun to protect your eyes.
The glasses have to be worn from when the event starts around 11 until it ends. It can only be taken off when the sun is completely blocked. However, many companies are recalling their glasses, causing some to scramble to find an approved pair. Shaw says it's important to look at the ISO of 123122 and a reputable distribution company, as this is an event you don't want to miss.
It's the location, you know, most of the time, 70% of the time it occurs over oceans, okay? So to have it in particularly a total eclipse, that's really special. Just hope they have fun and enjoy it, yeah, because it's a sight that they were not going to see, you know, in their lifetime again.
Shaw says the best thing to do is to head over to the American Astronomical Society's website to make sure that your glasses are safe to use today. You can find that link in this story on our website, thestjoechannel.com. And we know that it's dangerous for humans to watch the solar eclipse without proper eye protection, but many people don't realize it can also be a little unsafe for your pets as well. Many vets think there is a good chance that dogs or cats won't really bother to try to look up at the sun, but if they do, it could still cause damage to their eyes.
Risk, it's not likely to happen, but if you want to be on the safe side, just keep them inside for those few hours.
Because a total solar eclipse is so rare and they often happen in remote regions of the planet, there is little research available on how it impacts plants and animals. And don't forget, you have a chance to experience totality today alongside our chief meteorologist, Mike Brasciano. KQ2 and Trails West are teaming up for a total solar eclipse watch party. That event starts at 8 o'clock this morning, and Mike will be hosting the event on the main stage until 3 o'clock this afternoon. We will be right back with another look at today's highly anticipated forecast. Stay with us. And we have a jam-packed lineup of eclipse coverage here all day long on KQ2. We will have live hourly updates on traffic and other details going around town starting at 9 a.m., continuing at 10 a.m., and again at 11 a.m. Our network coverage with ABC's David Muir starts at noon, and then we will bring it back local. We will have coverage here starting at 12:45 with Alan Van Zant in the studio and KQ2 reporters out in the field and live with you throughout the totality of the solar eclipse. And of course, we just wrapped up all our coverage right here on Hometown this morning, so I hope you've been enjoying that so far. And
yes,
Ryan,
exactly.
What is the cloud coverage looking up as right now? I know it keeps changing on you.
You know, it does. I think we'll be looking at either broken or overcast cirrus clouds. Hopefully we can get some of these broken clouds in here. In fact, let's take a look at our radar, what we have going on right now. A storm system to our north and also a storm system to our west. And the ones off to our west, that is where the concern is. Right now we're sandwiched in between these two, but these clouds are right on our doorstep, and we'll be keeping an eye on those for you throughout the entire morning. In fact, as we take a look at that hour-by-hour forecast, this particular model doesn't look too bad. We may be looking at some of these broken clouds through the eclipse, and hopefully if we can get some of these clear skies, that would be just fantastic.
That would be ideal.
Yes,
all right,
exactly.
Well, thanks for bringing up this morning. Make sure to stay with your local news leader for all of your Eclipse Day coverage, and we will see you at 6 o'clock. Have a good one. Enjoy.